Hey YouTubers, Mike Boards with the Mike Boards channel. Thank you for watching. If you are joining us from the previous video where we showed you that leak coming from our overflow reservoir tank, glad to have you. In this video, we are going to run you through the step-by-step process on how to carefully and properly replace that reservoir tank without hurting yourself or getting burnt by that hot coolant. Let's take a look. Back at the Chevy Cruze engine, step number one, we need to cut all electrical power just for safety purposes. Grab a 10mm socket and ratchet, remove this bolt slightly, and remove this negative terminal from your battery lead. And when you shift this negative terminal off the battery lead, position it in a way where it's not going to hop back on and make contact with the terminal. Next, grab a paper towel. It's been 6 hours since we actually turned the engine off, and for safety purposes, we want to slowly unscrew this cap, and this paper towel is going to hopefully catch any remaining pressure or coolant that comes out. I heard a little hiss, and there we go. Let's remove this cap. Next, go ahead and grab some pliers, and we are going to carefully, without harming this hose, position this plier tip on the actual clamp and compress it and shift it rearward. Just like that. And from here, we can carefully and slowly remove this hose, just like that. And be advised, a little bit might drip out. However, because our coolant level was so low, because it was leaking out, there shouldn't be any in here. So set that aside, preferably in the up position. I'll set that right there. And we need to gain access to that clamp, compress it, and remove this hose. As you compress this clamp, slowly shift it rearward, and then we'll be able to remove this hose. Slowly release the clamp so it doesn't harm the hose. And as you remove this hose, it's also important to know that it has the exact same lip like this tip here, however just slightly larger. And it might give you a little pain as you slowly shift it off. Just be careful, because you do not want to harm this hose. If you do, you got to replace it with a new one. And honestly, that wouldn't be a bad thing, I guess. There we go. Be advised, this might leak as well. With the hose removed, in most cases, some people run into an experience where this lip portion of the reservoir breaks off inside the hose, and the hose itself with the clamp no longer has that lip to secure itself or rest itself against. And as the time goes by, that hose slowly shifts off this portion, and that sprays everywhere. So with that said, the next thing we need to do is remove this clip, and I grab this little hook tool from AutoZone. I'm going to insert it, and I'm going to slowly just prop it up to a point here, and then I'm going to take it off by hand because I do not want to lose this. I'm not sure if the new reservoir container comes with a new clip. However, if this falls in this engine, it's going to be very hard to find. At this point, the only thing holding this reservoir tank in place is on the very bottom. There is a little groove that a circular portion slides into and secures itself. So just by shifting this up and out, you can pull this whole thing out. And there it is, disconnected. Go ahead and set this in a safe location, and I'm going to set it right inside here. Real quick, on the bottom portion, there's that little groove I was telling you about. And as far as where it connects and slides in is right there. Here's the new part in the box. It's a Dorman brand. It's an aftermarket. I went with Dorman brand part number 603383 because this is much more durable and reliable than the original General Motors part. Unfortunately, I'm very disappointed with the GM part, because in my lifetime, and anyone I know, any vehicle their entire life that they've ever owned, they have never, ever, ever had to replace a overflow reservoir tank, ever. So with that said, I am not going to the dealership and purchasing the OEM part because it's cheap and it will fail. I don't plan on replacing this Dorman brand ever. New part is out of the box, and check that out. Re-engineered, much more reliable steel tubes inserted on this new part, and makes those portions where the hose goes onto and the clamp secures much stronger. Again, these steel tubes are not in the old GM part. That's why all of these parts are failing, and that's why this aftermarket part has re-engineered this and made it much more durable and much more reliable, and it's $7 cheaper. From here, let's reposition the reservoir in place. You've got the steel tube outlets that the hoses connect to facing the engine, and this little tab here, that is where we removed the clip earlier, and then this little hook back here, that is going to hook itself right there on that little clip here, and that little insert down there is where that portion right there goes. Might be a little tricky, it might need both hands, so I'm gonna set the camera down. Be advised, it is a little tricky. It took both hands to do that, and the back hook is in place around the actual metal portion of the frame here, and that bottom portion is reinserted and aligned properly. And guess what? The new Reservoir, unfortunately, does not come with a clip. This is the clip we carefully removed earlier. We are going to reinsert it and secure it. Just like that. Next, grab the larger lower hose, and we are going to insert this over the lip and push it all the way in. Grab your pliers, crimp this clamp together, and reposition it over the actual part that sticks out with the metal tube. 2 thumbs up for Dorman, making that part much more durable and reliable. Crimp it together where it gets over that lip, and take it all the way to the front, and slowly back the pliers off and allow that clamp to bite into that portion of the tube. Next, grab the smaller hose, reinsert that carefully over the lip, take it all the way in, and grab the pliers and re-secure the small clamp all the way to the front. And again, carefully and slowly release it, and that tension of the clamp is going to bite onto that plastic portion and metal tube inside. At this point, everything is secure. Double check everything and make sure no tools are left behind. From here, we are going to reconnect the negative terminal of the battery, grab our 10mm socket and ratchet, and secure that nut. Now it's time to add coolant to the reservoir, and I'm not going to bore you with that process. In the event that you do not know how to do that, or you want guidance and recommendations, that's awesome. Definitely check out the next video, because there is a proper and safe way, as well as recommended way, to fill the system with radiator fluid. Definitely check out the next video at the end. It's going to run you through all the steps required when you add coolant to the system. There's the right way and there's the wrong way. And when you go to AutoZone or any auto parts store, you have options when it comes to coolant to insert in the tank. And for your Chevy Cruze or your vehicle, we want to make sure you're inserting the proper fluid into the system. So definitely check that next video out. That's it, YouTubers. See a pretty friendly DIY do-it-yourself project. We hope the video helped. From here, do us a favor. Below the video, you will see that thumbs up icon. Click on that for us. That would be awesome. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely go to your settings. Turn on your YouTube notification bell. Once you do that, every video that we upload, you will be notified. You'll be able to stay up to date with us. And we love that. That'll be awesome. Thanks for watching.